this episode, what do you do when you think you're going to lose your fingernail? You have to listen to find out what that's about. Hey, we also talk about a missing hotel owner found inside a crocodile. And also a man gored to death by a bull. Stories Amanda didn't want to talk about. So check it out. Welcome back. Episode 74. Guess what? It's just me this episode. Me, myself, and I. I don't think Amanda really cared about the topics or stories that we're going to talk about today, and that's fine. So this episode could go one of three ways. Number one, it could be the best darn episode we've done. Or it could be number two, the worst episode I've ever done. Or it could be number three, like the middle of the road, doesn't, do great. It doesn't flop either, but I don't know. We'll see. So that's all up to you. I mean, I don't make that decision. I hope along the way, I can meet your high expectations. But with that being said, I want to hear from you. Send me some feedback. How you love the podcast. Maybe you don't love the podcast. Maybe you don't even like the podcast. Let me know. Tell me. Maybe there's a certain episode you loved. Tell me about it. Maybe you've got an idea for an episode. Tell me about it. So if you go into the description, it doesn't matter what platform you're listening to, but you go into the description, and somewhere on there, usually at the top, before you start reading the description, it'll say, send a text. On some of them it says, send fan mail. Either way, it comes to us through a text. And so we actually have the ability to text you back. And we might possibly do that. But yeah. Send it to us. We love to hear from you. We like to see, who's sending this. Of course, we don't know who's sending it, but we like to hear from you. Tell us where you're from, stuff like that. It's great. We really do appreciate it. All right, 3 things that I want to talk about before we get started, because we've got some serious subjects today. A couple of subjects that, I talked about the last episode rather, that Amanda didn't want to talk about. And, it's been a couple of weeks since we've been able to record. So I'm recording this one by myself, and I'm going to go over these few stories, and I'll have to reread them because I don't even remember all the ups and downs about it. So we'll do it together. How about that? But before we do that, 3 things, maybe 4, maybe 5, maybe 2, if I can remember them. Winston, our Yorkie. He now, when it storms, and the reason I'm bringing this up is because it's been storming here, all day. Today is a Sunday when I'm recording. It's Sunday evening right now. But it has rained on and off all day. And when it's thunder now and lightning, he starts breathing real heavy. I don't know. He's never done this. He gets anxious. I don't know. So what do we do? I know you can get medicine for him, I guess. A pill for him, something to, kind of calm them down. I guess we're going to do that. I've also heard that they make these jackets or vests. It's like a stress jacket that it fits tight on them, and it's supposed to, comfort them. I mean, I don't know. That's just what I've heard. Do any of y'all go through that? Do y'all know what I'm talking about? Send me some feedback. I need to know. I hadn't looked it up to see what all they say about this, but right now, I wasn't even going to let him in here while I'm recording. It was him and my other dog, Coco. Now, since it's been raining, I just let them out to use the bathroom. We came back in, so she was wet. She was laying down here just licking her back and her paws and all that kind of stuff. And I thought, nah, she's not going to stay in here because y'all would probably be able to hear. And since I got him calmed down, he's sitting right here beside me. I thought, well, he can stay. But if he was panting and doing everything he was a little while ago, that would have been a nay-nay. So, I don't know. I don't know why all of a sudden that started with him. Nothing has ever bothered him. He's not really, he is skittish. I think he sees things sometimes. I think he sees the spiritual world. I'm just saying that, being funny, but he will stare at things, especially at the floor. It's almost like he can't understand the floor and he's afraid to walk across it sometimes. It's very strange, very strange. But he's a rescue dog. I think we've talked about all this before, so I'm not going to rehash all that. But I don't know. This is a new thing with him, so trying to figure it out. All right, the other thing I wanted to mention to you was I was changing a trailer tire, and it's probably been 5-6 weeks ago. I hit my finger, or I crushed my finger. It's my middle finger, so that would be my bird finger, which I don't use it as a bird finger, but I'm just saying, on my left hand. I hit it on the jack, and now my fingernail has turned black, and it does not hurt at all. But I think I'm going to lose my fingernail. And I don't know what to do. I have no idea what I can do to prevent that from happening. I even thought about taking a picture of it and asking Chat GPT or one of the AI systems and asking them, hey, am I going to lose this fingernail? And see what they say. But I was just interested to know if anybody out there has ever hit their finger so hard that it turns black. I have never done it. I see people all the time. A lot of guys that work outside and construction workers, you always see one of their fingernails will be black. And I was thinking, I've never done that. Well, sure enough, I've done it. And like I said, it looks 1,000 times worse than it feels. It does not hurt at all. But now as it's growing, there's a little indentation in there. And also it's kind of cracking on one side to where, you're going to be able to, I don't know. My wife Amanda said she's going to get a file and kind of file it down because she's afraid that if I get the corner of it hooked on something that it is going to rip in half. But I'm talking about the very center of it. I'm not talking about on the end of it, but it's right in the center where it's doing this. So it's not gross. It's just black. And I just don't want to lose my fingernail. But anyway. All right, number 3. I think the third topic was I have planted so much grass seed. I have planted some shrubs. I planted grass seed on top of our hill where our mailbox is. Watered it every day. Got an expensive water bill, by the way, for doing it. It wasn't expensive, but it was twice as much as we normally pay. Put it that way. But my yard looks spectacular. That being said, I've planted 6 or 8 shrubs on our fence line to where in about 10 years it'll be grown up enough to where it blocks us seeing our neighbor and the other neighbor and the other neighbor. Because now our neighbor had his yard cleaned up. The landscaping crew came in and cleaned everything out. So now I can see house after house after house. So neighbor. So planted these. I wish they were fast growing, but anyway, so I planted those, and I decided when I did that, there was a bunch of moss. It's right on the side of the driveway, right on the side of a fence, and I cleaned out all of them. It was mossy. Got all that out of the way. Some good looking dirt, good topsoil, all that. So I've thrown some Bermuda grass seed down. Got it just like I like it. I did that. 2 days ago. That would have been Friday. I started that. And then yesterday I threw some more. I had some more. I threw it out and put a little bit of topsoil on top of it. Spent a lot of time, put it that way, on it. Had no idea that it was supposed to rain today. And so it's on a little bit of an incline. And so when I got home from church, as I looked, you can see where topsoil has washed away, and you can see the rows of where the seed has washed away. So I have basically wasted away a bunch of seed that's going to end up in one spot. I think in my neighbor's yard. He's going to have some wonderful grass, let me tell you. All right, and then the last thing I think I want to talk about was this, number 4 maybe? Yeah, but I've got a new technique. I've talked about I feed these catfish. I got a fish ring that I haven't been using, basically because it's got a hole in it and it's half underwater, half up. So anything you throw into it, it washes out from it. A wave comes in or a little bit of wind, it's not holding the food in there. And that's what a fish ring is for. It's supposed to hold all the food in one spot so the fish come to it. Well, it's not been working. I hadn't even used it, hadn't thought about it, because I just got this one spot on the bank off the retaining wall that I feed them off of. All right, so I decided to get that fishing ring. And hey, when I got it out, it's full of water. A lot heavier than I thought to, but it's a lot bigger than you would think once you get out of the water. Got the water drained out of it, patched it up, all this stuff. So anyway, I've rigged it up. I've got it out there where I'm actually using it now. But that being said, I've got a new way that I'm feeding these fish. And instead of just like, I put these catfish pellets in these containers, or I say containers, it's just like just cups, big plastic cups. Some of them, some are metal, just cups. And so half of them I soak in water. So I just pour water in there. It sucks up all the water, and I use that. And what I do is those will sink. So I throw it out there, and it sinks to the bottom because I've still got these catfish. For some reason, it is late for them to not come up to the top yet. They're still, I'll see them come up probably about 6 inches to the top, to the surface. But they will not feed anything that's just floating out there in the water. They will not do it. So I'm still having to soak this food and throw it out there. And that's fine. But I can't get any good videos, top water right now because they're still staying too low. So I can see them, I can see them, between that 6 inches and down to, I guess it's about 7 foot deep right now. But they're out there. It's all underwater videos is the only thing that I can do. And that's a lot of trouble with a GoPro because once you get it out, you have to dry it off. Then you have to download it. Then you got to get that stuff from the cloud the next day, download it to your phone, blah, blah, blah. And then you can edit it after that. So it takes some time. So I don't do that as much anymore. But I got a new technique. So what I'm doing is I'll make this kind of short so we can get to our topics. We want to hear about these awful things that happened. Not that we're excited to hear about them, but I'm just saying. I'm going to get to our stories that I told you I was going to tell you about. I'm getting a 2-liter bottle. All right, I'm cutting the top, or cutting about half of it, or say the top third off, something like that, or the top 25% off. I'm getting if you, like canning jars, if you take the lid off of it, that center piece, I'm drilling a hole in it, I'm putting a string through it, I'm tying a washer on the other side of it. You're probably saying, why are you doing that? This makes no sense. All right, in that 2-liter, I'm taking the string that's got the canister lid on the end of it, and I'm setting it down in the center of that 2-liter. Now I'm getting the catfish pellets. I'm filling that thing 3/4 of the way up. Now I'm getting water. I used hot water. I'm filling that thing up with hot water, letting those pellets soak it up. And then I'm actually going in there with my hand, and I'm kind of, just smashing it up, just making kind of like a mess. And after that, I'm freezing it. So I put it in the freezer. And the next day I get it out. And maybe this will start making sense now. So I get it out. I cut the plastic off of it. And so basically what that string has done, it is froze in the center, all the way through the center. And at the bottom of it is that canister lid that is basically the base. It's what's holding my string in there. And actually, of course, it's not as wide as a 2-liter is, but it's enough to where it's holding everything that's froze, right there. So it works out perfect. So I'm tying this. Now you just get a visual, and I'll tell you where you can see some of this. I don't think I've put this one out yet, but some other videos you can see them. But I'm putting it on. It's a golf ball retriever that I've had for years and years and years. I've cut the end of it off. And so now on that golf ball retriever, I've got a pool noodle. I've got the pool noodle that I've slid it over it so that golf ball retriever will actually float. All right. And so now on the very end of it, I've got I'm putting my GoPro. I've got a thing attached to it. So my GoPro will hang off of it. And then I'm putting about, 18 inches away from it, I am tying the string of that frozen food on it. And I'm taking it down there to the water, and I'm setting it down in the water. And so now I am videoing this frozen mush of food, seeing what I can see, watch them, as it's dissolving, it's kind of breaking away after a while. While they feed on it, it's breaking away. It's pretty cool. But anyway, so I did all that. I did all that just to say that nothing is eating it except turtles. The turtles are tearing it up, and I got some awesome video of it. But the catfish aren't touching it. And I think it's because I've got so many turtles coming in now that the catfish ain't got a fighting chance. So anything that's dropped off of it, and I know catfish are bottom feeders. I get that. I know all about catfish. I know how it works. I'm just saying any other time, and it might be because now that I've done this, each year I've gotten more and more turtles, kind of like I've gotten more and more catfish over the time. But it's like it's overwhelming to where the catfish aren't, and that might be why they're not coming up to the surface as much either, like they normally do. But they did not. I mean, it was a great idea. It's real rednecky. If you see me walking to the water with all this contraption and see me put it in the water and then see the result, I mean, it really is crazy. But I thought it was a good idea. I mean, you work with the tools you got, right? Without going to spend a lot of money or anything like that, so. But anyway, if you want to see any of these videos, if you got TikTok, go to TikTok, this, that, and the other pod, and follow us. Look at all the videos we got on there. I've got a cat stuck in a tree. Now, when I say stuck in a tree, there's a cat that is in the fork of a tree about head level that is stuck and has been there, I don't know, hours and hours, and we found him. Anyway, that we've got that pin one on there, but I've got all these catfish videos and geese and all this stuff. So if you're into any of that, or underwater videos, if you like any of that stuff, look that up. The other one that I've got is on YouTube, and it's called Lake Life with J-Dub. Lake Life with J-Dub. J-D-U-B-B. So if you go to that, I think the image on it's like a boat dock with a sun setting behind it. If you like those videos, check it out. Follow, comment, do whatever. But yeah, that's where I do all my wildlife stuff. So, with that being said, let's get into today's topics. Let me pull it up. All right, our first story is a missing hotel owner found inside crocodile. A South African hotel owner is believed to have been eaten by a 15-foot crocodile after human remains were found inside the swollen reptile. The animal was shot from a helicopter and airlifted from the crocodile-infested Kamadi River in a daring police operation before a post-mortem examination was carried out. A ring was found inside the belly of the 500-kilogram apex predator and is thought to have belonged to Gabriel Batista, 59 years old. Now, 500 kilograms is, I looked it up, it ends up being, let me see if I can read it, 1,102.31 pounds. So 1,102 pounds. That's a big old critter. Big old critter. The businessman was swept away in floodwaters while trying to drive across the Kamadi River, I think I'm saying that right, in the northeast of the country a week ago. Investigators will carry out DNA tests on the bones and flesh found inside the crocodile. Batista's four-wheel drive vehicle became stuck when he attempted to cross the river last week, which now has been 3 or 4 weeks ago. He is believed to have been swept away by the floodwaters. It is not known whether Batista was drowned by the time he was attacked by the crocodiles or if he was eaten alive. Let's hope that, well, I don't want anybody to drown, and it sounds bad when you say, well, I hope, he had drowned before he was eaten alive, but eaten alive is a terrible thing. I could not imagine. As a matter of fact, I was having a conversation with a guy yesterday, and we got on the, talking about bears, a black bear, grizzly bear, and then we both were understood that we would rather run into a black bear than a grizzly bear. Black bear, probably going to run off, but if you had a fighting chance, I'm going with the black bear. But a grizzly bear, he's going to pin you down, and you're going to watch him start eating you alive, and it would be terrible. I could not imagine. In the wake of his disappearance, police spent 4 days flying drones and helicopters over the river during the search and noticed a crocodile with a swollen belly basking in the sun on a small island. The captain, I don't really know how to pronounce his name, the commander of a police dive unit told News 24, besides having a massively full tummy, he didn't move around to try to slip into the river despite the noise of the drones and the chopper. The crocodile was shot by a police marksman from the helicopter and airlifted away from the river to nearby Kroger National Park. Now, I think this is what caught my eye, because if you look up this story, it shows a guy and a huge alligator, basically he's harnessed in on a long rope that is being, flown by a helicopter, and they're just going through the air. And I thought, that looks very funny to me. I like, that has got to be AI, something crazy like that. But then when I read this story, I was like, well, that kind of makes sense. But anyway, we'll get into that here in a second. A field necropsy was carried out, and 2 severed arms, part of the rib cage, and pieces of flesh were found in the stomach of the crocodile. The captain said, I don't want to go into too much detail. Well, apparently they did. But there was enough inside the stomach to lead us to believe the crocodile ate the missing man, but we will have to wait until the DNA results come back to confirm it. Now get this. As well as the body parts, 6 different types of shoes were found, according to the captain. He said this could indicate it had killed other people, but not necessarily, adding a crocodile will eat or swallow anything. But that is crazy to think that it's got that many shoes inside of them. And, you probably put 2 and 2 together, start finding, thinking, hey, who's missing? And, maybe you can figure that out, but that's weird. Batista owned the Border Country Inn and Sports Bar, a short drive from the bridge where he disappeared. A spokesman said Gabriel was a lovely guy and a family man. He spent a lot of time up here and customers loved him. He lived in Johannesburg, but owned this guest house and bar and spent a lot of time here and was on his way to work on Monday when he was swept away. The family did not want to say anything until the DNA results have been done. It is just terrible, and his wife has been here every day with the police diving team. It is a nightmare, but at the moment there is no family comment. And here's where the picture I was telling you about. Just a strange picture when you see at the very end an alligator, and then about 8 foot above him a person that's harnessed in on this rope, and then a helicopter above him. The Nile crocodile is the largest species in Africa, with some individuals rivaling the saltwater or estuarine crocodiles that live in Australia and Southeast Asia. One of the most dangerous reptiles in the world, Nile crocodiles can grow as long as 20 feet and weigh more than 680 kilograms. So you're talking probably, that might be 1,400 pounds. 20 feet is big. That's long. The species is responsible for several hundred confirmed human deaths per year. That's unbelievable too. That's crazy. Unbelievable. Although the true number may be higher because many attacks happen in remote areas and are not reported to the authorities. Let's see. And that's it. So that's all I've got on that story right there. But how about that? That is simply crazy. I don't know if I would, like the lake that we live on, there's never been a report of an alligator or anything like that, which we live in central Alabama. But I know in this county of a pond where a big alligator was killed. But I think it's going to be a game changer when there's like the first sighting of an alligator on this lake or anywhere close to here, because I spend so much time. Now, I don't get out on the water. We do kayak and stuff like that. But, hey, I'm probably going to put the kayak in. It's going to either be sold or very minimal kayaking will be done, put it that way. But I'm always at the water's edge. I'm feeding these brim. I'm putting my hand in the water with bread, and these brim are eating, this out of my hand and stuff like that. Now I'd have to deal with an alligator. I'm in the back of my mind, I've got to think, hey, I better not be splashing around in the water with my hand, because that might attract one of these alligators that might be lingering around, and it might get me. I would hate to think I'd have to deal with that. So that would definitely be a game changer. All right, that leads me to the other story I want to talk about. Man, 33, gored to death at Running of the Bulls Festival after sustaining wounds to his groin, chest, and abdomen. A 33-year-old man has died after being gored by a bull at a festival in Spain on Friday, April 24th. Cattle breeder Santiago Barrero San Roman was attacked by the bull at the San Marcos Festival in the remote southern Spanish town of Viez de Segura, according to El País ABC. And somewhere else I can't say. So, the bull charged at Roman at around 7 p.m. local time and gored him multiple times, leaving him with wounds to his groin, chest, and abdomen, ABC reported. Roman was rushed for emergency treatment at a nearby first aid station, but succumbed to his injuries at around 8 p.m. local time as responders tried to transfer him to the hospital, according to the outlet. The organizers of the San Marcos Festival deeply regret to announce that a tragic incident occurred during today's festivals, resulting in the death of one participant, the organizers of the San Marcos Festival said in a translated statement on Friday. In accordance with the current San Marcos Festival regulations, tomorrow's celebration and scheduled activities will not be suspended, the statement added. However, as a sign of respect and mourning, a minute of silence will be observed, accompanied by a trumpet blast, as stipulated by the regulations. On behalf of all of the residents of San Marcos, we extend our deepest condolences to the family and friends of the deceased. Following the incident, the Association of Fighting Bull Breeders wrote on X, "We join in the sorrow over the passing of rancher Santiago Barrero San Roman. We extend our affection and our condolences to his family and friends. May he rest in peace." Roman and his wife, Vanessa, were the founders of the Toros de San Roman brand, according to El País. And it's raining outside like crazy, by the way. He was also the grandson of fellow bull breeder Antonio San Roman, the outlet added. The San Marcos Festival dates back to the 16th century, and including a traditional running of the bulls through the town streets along with feats, and music, per the local authorities. They reached out to the Hermandad de San Marcos desde Bermuda Town Hall and blah, blah, blah for further comment and didn't get anything back. So that story didn't go into a whole lot of detail. Like there was another one that I read that gave a little bit more, but I did find it interesting that they are basically saying we will not suspend, everything else that's going on, for the rest of the weekend, tomorrow, all this stuff. But we will have a moment of silence to pay our respects. So there. Running of the Bulls. How do you feel about that? I don't think I would. It's like anything else. It's kind of like, New Year's Eve in New York, watching the ball drop, all that stuff. The only way that I'd be there is if I've got a hotel room and it's got a balcony and I can walk out on the balcony or look out a window that opens up and I can look out there and sit there, stand there, gaze out there as long as I want to, and then walk back in and sit down for a minute, watch TV, whatever, and do the same thing. That's the way I feel about most events. I can go to bed whenever I want to. I can go to the bathroom whenever I want to. I can go to the refrigerator anytime I want to. That's how I feel about the Running of the Bulls. Same thing. I will stand out there, prop up on the guardrail and look down and watch y'all on the streets get trampled, gored, whatever. But I'm not doing it. And that's not just me saying at my 50-year-old age either. That would be me at, 20 or 32. Now, if Amanda was here, then she'd be like, you're a liar because you used to ride bulls. So if you can ride bulls, you'd be out there in the streets when they're running. Well, I think it's a little bit different. Maybe not, but I feel like it is. But I'm not going to do it. So that's it. So we did it. We actually got through this without Amanda. I didn't think it could happen, but it did. And it is, like I said, it is coming a flood outside again. So more grass seed is being washed off my property as we speak. Hurts my feelings. So yeah, check us out. I appreciate you listening. Go to the TikTok, This, That, and Other Pod. Check that out. Follow. Hey, the other Three Wheels No Direction is the other podcast that I was a part of. We have not recorded in a long time, but we've got, I think, 112 episodes. So if you want to check it out, it's called Three Wheels No Direction. Go out there and check it out. Spotify is our home site. So, but where you can go to Apple, you can go anywhere. iHeart, anywhere. Listen to it. Same thing there. Comment. We've also got an email on it. You can also go to TikTok on it, Three Wheels No Direction, and look at the videos we've got. We used to do some videos of when we did the recording. We got some little shorts on there and stuff like that. And then we got that one video that went viral of me poking at an armadillo in a hole with the neighbor's dog barking at it. And I'm just acting the dog on. And people, I don't know, we got 286,000 views, thousands of likes. I don't know how many comments, but everybody thinks I'm the worst person ever. But yeah, check it out. So there. So Amanda doesn't like me to mention that other podcast, Three Wheels No Direction. But since she's not here, I'm going to mention it several times. But we are about to possibly get that one back running. It might not be a weekly thing, but we might actually be recording a new episode for it here in a couple of days. So you might be wanting to check that out possibly next week. Possibly. No guarantees, but a little birdie told me that we might be recording this week. But it could fall through. Thanks for listening. We love all y'all out there. If you do text us, be kind, because we're kind to you. See ya.